Imagine a scenario where the sun is suddenly exposed, unleashing a catastrophic surge of solar radiation. Mercury, closest to the sun, could be stripped bare, its surface melting under the intense heat. Venus would become a hellscape, its already thick atmosphere superheating and reacting violently. Earth, shielded by its magnetic field, wouldn't escape unscathed. Satellites would fry, power grids could collapse, and our ozone layer might degrade, letting harmful UV rays wreak havoc on life. Mars, with its thin atmosphere, would be bombarded by radiation, complicating any hopes for colonization. The gas giants, like Jupiter and Saturn, might see their moons and magnetospheres disrupted, while the outer planets, Uranus and Neptune, would experience delayed but significant changes. If the Sun were to expand into a red giant, it could engulf Mercury and Venus entirely, and Earth might face a fiery fate as temperatures soar and atmospheres boil away. Our solar system, once a cradle of life, would transform into a hostile, chaotic realm, a stark reminder of the fragility of our existence bound to a single star. When the Sun is exposed, if we interpret that as a scenario where the Sun undergoes a significant and catastrophic change, such as a dramatic increase in solar radiation, a massive solar flare, or even the end stages of its stellar life cycle, then the effects on all planets and the entire solar system would be profound, potentially devastating. The Sun is the gravitational anchor and primary energy source for the solar system, so any serious disturbance to its structure or behavior would ripple across every celestial body in its influence. For instance, if the Sun suddenly emitted a hyper-intense burst of solar radiation, like an extreme coronal mass ejection, CME, many times stronger than any previously observed, the first planets to feel the effects would be Mercury and Venus due to their proximity. Mercury could be stripped of its already thin exosphere, bombarded with radiation, and potentially see its surface melt in places. Venus, with its thick atmosphere, would become even more inhospitable, its clouds superheating and reacting violently to the increased solar input. Earth, although shielded somewhat by its magnetic field and atmosphere, would face potentially catastrophic consequences. Intense solar radiation could fry satellites, collapse power grids, disrupt global communications, and dangerously elevate surface temperatures. The ozone layer might degrade, allowing harmful ultraviolet rays to penetrate deeper into the atmosphere, increasing cancer risks, killing plankton in the oceans, and damaging crops. Mars, lacking a global magnetic field and with a thin atmosphere, would be bathed in radiation, likely rendering any colonization efforts even more challenging. The gas giants like Jupiter and Saturn might not suffer surface-level damage due to their deep atmospheres, but their magnetospheres and moons could be affected. Europa's icy shell might be altered, Titan's atmosphere disturbed, and electromagnetic interactions with Jupiter's radiation belts could intensify. The outer planets, Uranus and Neptune, might face delayed but still notable changes, especially in terms of their upper atmospheres reacting to the altered solar wind and radiation pressure. Comets in the Oort cloud and Kuiper belt could be dislodged from their orbits due to shifts in solar gravity if the Sun loses mass during this exposure event, sending more objects toward the inner solar system and increasing the likelihood of impacts. Over a longer term, if this exposure means the Sun expanding into a red giant during the end of its life, it would engulf Mercury and Venus entirely, possibly even Earth, depending on how much mass it loses and how far it expands. The rest of the planets would face rising temperatures, the boiling away of any volatile substances, and a complete reshaping of their atmospheres and orbits. The solar system would become a drastically different place, more hostile and less stable, as the source of all its energy and order, our star, transformed from a nurturing presence into a destructive force, illuminating the fragility of planetary systems bound to a single, evolving star.